Hey everybody, it's me Shar, and today I'm going to go over how I created my retirement money bouquet from start to finish. So first you want to get all your supplies, your money, your skewers, your tape, anything that you'll be using. For this one, I decided to use 6-inch skewers. I'm liking the 6-inch and the 8-inch. Those are my go-to. The tape dispenser and the tape. Everything that I use in this video, you can find the links to it in my description. So this particular order, the person wanted a 50 bill bouquet, but they wanted the amount of money to equal $100. So I've done it with $2 bills, right? That's easy. $52 bills. So they didn't want $2 bills. So what I came up with is 2 tens, that's $20. 8 $5 bills is $40, and then 40 ones. So the 2 tens is 20, 5 eighths is 40, that's 60, and then 40 ones will equal $100. So that's 2 $10 bills, so that's 2 bills, 8 $5 bills, so that's 8 plus 2 is 10, and then the 40 ones, 40 plus 10 is 50 bills. Whenever I'm doing any large amount of money, I often section them off in tens, just to make sure that I'm not putting extra in or not leaving any out. It's just another way to double check everything that I have. So I know each of my piles, there should be 5 piles of 10 bills. It's just, like I said, another way for me to double check and make sure everything is copacetic. Unfortunately, the bank didn't have new bills. So when they don't have new bills, I'll sort through them to try to get the best looking ones, but it was hard. So anytime I go to the bank and they have a lot, that's what I do. The next thing I do is I'm going to count my sticks or my skewers. This is another way that you can double check to make sure that your bill count is right and everything else. So just like I did the bills, I'll do this in sections of 10. Now, sometimes when I make the money bouquets, I'll do everything all at once. I'll tape it on one side, or sometimes I'll just do it, break it down in groups, depending on what I have going on, where I might want to break it up, where I'm tired of taping it one way and I want to go to the folds. So that is completely up to you. Whatever you come up with for your method is, you got to do what works for you. And another thing that I also do is I get my tape ready in advance. So you can tape it one by one, pulling it off the dispenser. But what I found to be easier for me, so let's say we're going to do this group of 10, is to pull off 20 pieces of tape or 10 pieces of tape. Stick that to the table so that when I'm taping it on, it's not going to be me continually to rip off, the dispenser. But okay, so here once again is the transparent tape, and it says photo safe. Now, I've used this for the money bouquets I've made, and I've never had a problem with it coming off or ripping. So let me know, how it works for you. So in other videos, I was told that it is hard to see what I'm doing. So hopefully this angle is better, and I will zoom in later, on in the video, that you can get a better view, and hopefully you can see more of what I'm doing. So yes, and the part I cut off is me, getting that tape ready. So I'm putting it right on the side of his lip, because that's where the fold, if you look a little closer, you can see where the fold mark is at, the halfway mark, and that's kind of where you want to get it at. Doesn't have to be precise. You can put it by his lip. You can put it by the collar that he has. Once you find a way that works for you, just stick to it. I used to get so caught up oh no, I didn't get it exactly where it needed to be, and it really will not mess you up that much. So as long as you're getting it on there and as long as it's secure, sometimes you may feel you need another piece of tape. You can do that and it'll hold. Sometimes if you do these folds, or if you tape them and it's looking a little flimsy, go back in and add another piece of tape. I used to think that the tape had to be a certain size. and get bent out of shape, like, oh, this is too long, this is, no, the more that I've done these, the more I realize that it is not that serious, as long as when it comes to making the fold. Now I do like those to look a certain way. I will redo those if they don't make like that heart sort of shape, because I don't want them to be like too smushed in, and I don't want them to be like too wide, so I will redo that. But for the most part, your bouquets are going to look amazing. So I'll just fold in each of the corners and I get on the touch. And one thing that you can do is, if you look how I stick my hand in there, my 2 fingers, you can use that to sort of support it while you're putting that tape on. Like if some people had questions about, where the tape is supposed to go, or, the tape smushing it, that's one way that you can prevent like the bottom from being too smushed in. That can impact your shape. So just, use your fingers as a guide, or as a template, or a support, or as a mold, however you want to say that. And then you can tape down by the bottom part. And like I said, I do. Now this is one thing I will redo. Like if it's sticking out too much, I really don't like the ends to come up. I've seen some where like those ends where they meet stick out the flowers. I don't like that. I like it to be flush with the edge of the bill. So if it does stick out a lot, you can just adjust that by pulling it back and not making that bottom seal as tight. And so, like I said, you can do how I've done it in the past, is I've just done all the flat sided tape first, and then I'll do the folds. But now, like I said, I wanted to break it up a little bit. So I'm doing the tape and then I'm doing the folds. What else was I going to say? Yeah. So that's the look that I try to get right there. This is just sped up a little bit. This is the only part of the video that's sped up. I think I must have accidentally put the little time travel thing on there. Well, I thought that was the only part. So this is me. Once again, I put the tape, got that ready. And as you see, I did 10 and 10 because I'm sitting at like one of these smaller card tables to make it. And it really doesn't take that much time. I think I timed myself. It was like a minute and a half to do that beforehand. So here we are zoomed in. Hopefully that this view is better and you can see what's actually going on. Hopefully I stay in the frame, because sometimes it's hard, like when you're trying to do it and making sure that you're in the frame, like you forget. I get into my little zone and I'm, done. So hopefully this is a better view. I'm going to stop talking for a little bit. I've really been going nonstop, but let me know, have you been making these bouquets and what have you made them for? This was my first retirement one. I've gotten some for graduations, of course, birthdays, and even as memorial ones, where I actually make buttons as well, customized buttons. So I've added buttons onto some of the flowers where I use bigger flowers. It was like a smaller one, but the families loved it. So let me know what kind of money bouquets you've been making. Are you still getting requests for these? I don't think that these will ever go old. And I also have like new paper. And sorry for the delay. I have been going through some things with my health. So that is why I have been MIA. But no worries. I am back and we'll keep trying to do these videos on a consistent basis like before. So thank you all for sticking by and watching. here is the $10 bills and the $5 bills. So I will show you if you can see where the fold mark is at, the halfway mark. So I kind of use like his ear, like under his hair, that little spot, or you know, where his collar meets his hair, to know where I should put the stick. Because sometimes I don't always want to fold these bills, but if I find like a mark where I can put it, that's where it'll go. So for the $5 bill, if you look at it, there's like a part that's like shaded in darker, like contour. So I kind of put it at that spot right there. And for all the other $5 bills, I know, if, like I said, if it doesn't have that line from where it's folded, that this is where I'm putting my skewer, right there on his, you know, that jawline, that contour looking spot. So that's where I put it on $10 bills. That's where I put it on $5 bills. And once again, I know that it's moving a little bit out of the screen. My apologies, but I hope that with these angles, you are able to see, you know, where my placement's at a little bit better. I definitely say it is an improvement from the very first video I created. So I'm excited about that. And then when it comes to folding these, you know, nothing's different with that. It's the same thing, you know, the same strategy where you're folding the two ends together and you want that center to meet up. And also when I'm doing this, I'm counting as well. Once again, you can never, to me, count enough times. Okay, now here comes the fun part, the flowers. And by fun part, I am definitely being sarcastic because here's the thing. Sometimes the flowers are okay, but they come in different shapes, different sizes. So that will all like impact, the spacing of your bills around it. And being that I had a certain number of bills that I had to use, and certain ones that were like not just ones, but they were bigger. Because sometimes I'll finesse it at the end and like make it fit. But for this one, I specifically wanted those bigger bills in the center. So this is a disclaimer right now. The beginning of this, you're going to see me putting these flowers in and taking them out a certain amount of times because the placement is everything with it. So the other thing, these flowers, like they had the backs, I just used the pointy end of the skewer and stuck it in there. I didn't use any glue. Some people will hot glue gun it. Sometimes I will too, but I didn't for this. So I was trying to get a certain number of flowers in the center so I could fit 10 bills around there. And I could have left this out and just got to the point where I did it like with the arrangement that I wanted. But I wanted everybody to see, like, sometimes you will have to redo it. Well, I can't say you'll have to redo it. Let me not say you. Sometimes I have to redo things if it doesn't work the first time. But that is what is so great about this is, it's not permanent. Also, I try to get flowers that look realistic. I'm actually allergic to real flowers, so all the flowers I use are artificial, synthetic, and it is such a huge compliment to me when I do these and people are like, they thought they were real, or, when I hand them to them and they say, do I need to put them in water, or, what should I do? And I'm like, they're fake, so... but it's up to you because I do use like the foam ones sometimes too. And those give like a nice look as well. So I try to, have a variety of options. Now here's the other thing you will see me do again is the placement of the money. And I decided to not skip this part in here as well because sometimes I have to restart. The goal was to try to do, since I have 8 5s and 2 10s, was to try to fit 4 5s in between each 10. And I don't think I did it right the first time. So here I am doing it. As you can see, I'm already at 2 5s and it's kind of close, but I might make it. I might not. Nope, I didn't make it. You can already see that ain't making it. So what do? Take it out and redo it again. So one thing I would say, because all my flowers are different and I get them at different times, I'm not always able to get the same things. If you're able to find like the same flowers and you use those, the certain size, that helps because you can sort of already say, hey, with these flowers, I use this many and it'll fit this amount around, the perimeter of it. But in this situation, that's not what happened. So I was like, yeah, there's definitely too many flowers in the center. Let me try to reconfigure those. This can be, time consuming as well. So you just have to watch for that. But I don't mind it because this is like a stress reliever for me. Just sitting, designing these bouquets. It's like no outside noise or no, other things you do. My job, I'm in the healthcare field, so it's like a very demanding job during the day. So this is just one way, like, it's relaxing to me. Like I said, I put on a TV show, I'll listen to some music that I like and just focus on creating. So here I used a different technique. As you see, I just centered the $10 bills across from each other so I can have a better thing before I do all 10 of them to see like, hey, am I getting close to the limits or not? So this was way better. And one other thing that I learned is they don't have to be like directly on each other, neck and neck, because when you start to add the other flowers, well, not flowers, I'm calling it flower, the other ones to it, they sort of will fill in the gaps. And you can always put like a rubber band on the bottom too to get it closer together after you create it. Like use a rubber band and put it on the sticks that'll hold it together. I've seen some people tape it. I usually just use a rubber band and it'll like make it, a little more bunched together. But as you see, like now this is just what works for me. So if you do something else, that's fine. I'm just showing you, my methods. So, finally got it. The 10 around the perimeter and it looks pretty good. I always try to make sure they're lined up a certain way. I don't know if you noticed, but I flipped it over because sometimes when you already start putting all these holes into the foam, if you're using the foam, it can start to make the sticks move, and I try to let it be as sturdy. So I just flip it over. I always try to keep it in the plastic because it's less of those little particles floating around. I have a lot of allergies, so just less stuff that I have to worry about. Now, I've seen videos where people just actually use the one block. Like I think there's 3 or 4 blocks that come in this pack, and I've seen people just use a block, which is real good like when you're talking about supply wise. But for me, excuse me, my voice just went out. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry about that. I was saying, for me, I like to leave the block on there because it creates like a handle that they can hold it by. I've seen some people use sticks, but if I put like the paper on the bottom and then tie the bow, it makes a nice handle. Sometimes I'll ask if they want a vase or if they want it in a pail. Like if it's for this retirement thing, it was a retirement brunch, so this would be sitting up. So I think it's nice that it's in the pail, but they can also take it out if they need it. So I will go over that a little more in the next thing where I'm putting the paper on. Now, as you can see, I'm nearing the end of the 3rd row. Usually my 50 bill bouquets have 3 rows and I still have 4 bills left over. In the past, I would panic and say, oh no. But if you look at the bouquet, there's a couple spots where this would be able to be added in, and you might not necessarily be able to tell that it's part of a different row because it sort of will blend with the other flowers. Or you may be able to tell, but nobody really gets bent out of shape. So I haven't been able to master that just yet, but in the end, I think I make it look a little cohesive. Or not. But I haven't gotten any complaints about it. And I probably still will mess around with this a little bit before I put the paper on, just to make sure I like the arrangement of it. But yeah, you see I'm messing around with some of these, sliding them over so then the one can slide in a little better for the rest of the rows. But when you put the paper on too, that'll help the end. And sometimes that's where I decide that I will put a butterfly or something like that. It's really, like a form of art. So here is one way that I fold the paper and wrap it. I used to use pins. I used to use tape, double-sided tape. Now I mainly use tape and I use staples. This is just one way, and this is when you want to use the full sheet. I definitely have a new way now where instead of using the whole sheet, I cut the sheet in fours, like down the middle and where the fold is at. And I've went from using 6 sheets total to make my bouquets to now where I just have to use 4 sheets total. So I will definitely show that to you in a future video as well. So you're going to start with the paper all the way open. You're going to fold one corner to the middle of wherever you have the top of your paper at. It doesn't matter if the left corner, right corner, fold one of those corners up. And then you will fold that same side in between, the triangles or the tips that was right there. So I'll do it again from the other side. It really looks the same to me, but I fold one corner to the top middle part, and then you want to fill in that other blank space right there. Yep, right there. Come on. Okay, there it is. So it looks like there's 4 tips at the top, and then you tape it down. And once again, I'm showing you all the steps. Sometimes I mess up, sometimes I don't like the way it looks, so I'll redo it. If you fold it one way and don't like the way it looks, do it again until you get the look that you want. But like I said, I have a new way that saves paper. It's a little more time because you're cutting up the paper, but I like that I'm able to save paper when you're talking about a profit, using 4 pieces as opposed to 6 pieces is a win. And I came about this whenever I was doing the one with like my paper that had designs on it, that I just wanted one side to show because one side had a design and the other one was just plain. I figured it out. So I'll fold up 4 full-size papers. I think this should be the last one that I'm folding up. And you can actually move that, like, you see how that's kind of close to the other side? I don't like that. I don't know why I folded that like that. It should be more towards the center, so that it's more evenly spaced. But once again, these are little nuances that, you get better with over time. Yeah, that wasn't right. There we go. But yeah, always do it until you get the look that you want. So now that all the paper is folded and taped, I will get my money bouquet. And well, first I guess I'll do the thing that I'm going to stick the money bouquet in. This is a little pail, a little tin. I got it from the Dollar Tree. Put it right in the center, where X marks the spot. And I literally stuff the corners in it. I don't use glue. I don't use anything else other than stuffing it in. Because what's going to happen is when I put the green foam in there, it'll be tight enough. So I'm not sure if you can find these pills on Amazon. So I probably need to look into that because I'm not sure if at Dollar Tree they just have them in stock, like for a certain season or not. Okay, now it's time to add those papers that we folded. I like to do one on each side and I just tape it. So I always look to see, I like the placement of it. I don't like the paper down too far, like where the triangles aren't showing, and I don't like it up too high to where the bouquet isn't bouqueting. So I will usually do this, tape it and look, and it's literally just using the tape, and I go down to the second, I don't know if that's the second or third line, and tape it on, and it secures it. And I'll put another tape if I think it's not secure enough, and then I look at it and I make sure I like the way it looks. Usually I'll wait till the end to staple it. This is where I used to use double-sided tape, but I'm learning that the staples are more secure. And I used to use the double-sided tape because it's I don't want, people to see the staples and all that, but it's really not that real in the grand scheme of things, that little staple that's showing from the back. I never really got bouquets because I'm not a flower person, so I didn't know how that paper looked, but this is just fun. And I'll do that all the way around. And you're going to see in here, like I said, this is raw, so you're going to see me undo the staple that I just put in. You'll see at the end because I don't like the placement of it. Once again, everything can be taken out. The only thing that you have to watch with the staples is when you take them out, that you don't tear the paper too much. A little tear, you can hide it a little bit, but if you tear it too much, you're just going to have to redo it. So I will say that much. But the staple method has worked so much better for me, and it helps to tighten it up as well to give it that little zhuzh that it needs. So I will let you continue to watch this. And once again, if you have any questions or if I'm not showing something good enough, I'll let me know in the comments. I do appreciate the comments. I do read them. I do try to respond to everybody who writes. I appreciate you taking your time to watch this video and to give me some critiques if you have them. Some of y'all delivery is very wild. I've seen a couple people write to me in all caps who are you yelling at? But yeah, I do appreciate the feedback, whether it's something positive or something that you feel would help me. I appreciate it all. So as you see, I don't like the way that was looking. So I took the staple apart and now I'm just readjusting that staple, and then I probably took out the staple that was next to it until I got the tightness that I need. And it's something that with time you'll be able to see, or when you do it, you'll be able to tell like how I'm showing, like that should reach there. So then this next one should go over a little bit more, and it'll just secure it and make the bouquet look oh so much better. But yeah, I used to be scared to mess up on this part, or scared to, redo this part. No, like that is a part of the process. Like some of this stuff needs to be redone, and it's okay. So you can undo staples. The tape is easier to undo, but unstaple it, and I'll tape up, the edges that are coming down until I get the look that I need. So please, 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 if you don't take anything else from my videos, like understand, I mess up a lot, and it's okay. It's a part of the process, and it won't hurt to redo it to get the look that you want to achieve. So I used to think, oh my goodness, if I take it apart, it's going to mess it up. No, it doesn't mess it up. It's absolutely okay. And then, like I said, here's the double-sided tape. I'll use that to secure the pieces up that doesn't necessarily need a staple, but you don't want it just flopping down or hanging and looking any kind of way. And then if all else fails, butterflies or other things you can add on to it to get it to look how you want it to be. So with this, if you see, I just literally put the paper down and put this around it, and then I just stuff it into the pail, and it fits like a glove. It fits perfectly, and I'll show you how that looks. See? And here I am. I'm just looking at it one final time before I go to add the trinkets in. Now, this was a retirement party. I asked them what colors the party was going to be. They said black, white, gold. So I used my Cricut, and I created that little thing that says I'm retired. I created that myself. I stuck it. I used like cardstock photo paper, and I put it on both sides and put a little stick in between. It says, I don't want to. I don't have to. You can't make me. I'm retired. Yes, retirement life. So let me know what you think about this video. If it helped you in any way. If it didn't help you in any way. I'd like to know that too. But thanks again for watching, and enjoy your day or night.